My team's already talking about they're excited.
Hey, Ryan, is that Ryan? Ryan, did you send me an email about was that you about the KW Cares thing? Ryan Smith? He's going, oh, what? Did you send me, was that anything that you sent about an email about partnering with KW Cares or something? Okay, I think it's a phony thing, so I'll double check it.
No, I didn't. I didn't send
Okay,
that.
very good. All right, so I sent it to OPs and team leaders, but market center tech trainers and PCs, I want to make sure Michelle that you saw my email. Michelle Anderson is and was leading the PC coaches at MAPS, and then she kind of has ventured out. She's still with KW and she's still MAPS coach and everything. But in addition to that, she has ventured out and she wrote a book about the PC Atlas for PC coaches. And basically it's a kind of like a workbook on how to become a great PC. And the region is buying that book for you. So it's going to go to each market center. So each PC will have this book. And then we also may or may not have one for each market center tech trainer that wants one as well. But we just figured the market center can be sharing it because it's really more for PCs, but the the MCTT could review it as well. Then she has a coaching call that she's going to start every week. Well, excuse me, every other week. It starts this Wednesday. And basically she is a certified coach. In other words, she's received her designation for training and coaching and all that sort of thing. So she's going to teach you how to become a really, really great coach, PC coach from a coaching perspective. So that's going to be the first call this Wednesday. And then every other week, it'll be like the mastermind with all the PCs on it. So one week it'll be how to become a great, PC from a coaching perspective. Then the following 2 weeks later, there's 2 calls a week, will be a mastermind with all the other PCs in the who's ever part of her program. So what we're gonna, and that's only $25 a month to be part of that, part of that monthly call, which I think is a great deal. But my gift to you, in addition to giving you the book, is if you participate and if you pay attention, and if we see that you're engaged, at the end of each quarter, the region will reimburse you back 50% of your contribution. So if you paid $75, we'll give you $37.50 back, okay? Because you got to have some of the skin in the game. So Liliana, you sent me a response back and you thought that was a great deal, right?
Absolutely. Well, I coached with Michelle for almost 2 years, so I know what you're getting into.
Exactly. So guys, this is a free gift from the region. And then your first call this Wednesday, your first call is free to check it out. This first call is free to check it out. And then I think that the next one is free as well. So it's like the first month is free, and then you guys sign up, and then you get to be on each one of them, and then I'll reimburse you 50%. So Ashley, this is what I needed to tell you. You're gonna send in the name of every PC that we have on our roster, because if they're not approved with us, we don't know about them, and every market center tech trainer. So she can send out the link, okay? In addition to getting you the book, the written book version, you're also getting an ebook. So market center tech trainers, you're going to be getting an ebook. So what am I asking of you? I'm asking you to be on this call Wednesday as my gift to you. It's not going to cost you anything, because to me, the market center tech trainer is kind of like a launch coach, and just as important from a coaching perspective, learning the attributes of great coaching, just as important to the as the PC coach, because you're kind of like their first after the team leader and stuff, you're kind of like their first intro into what they're going to be getting. Okay, awesome. Are you guys excited about this? You should all say yes. Team leaders, you should be excited about it too.
Yes.
Our little gift to you, our little gift. All right. Where is Lucas? Is Lucas there?
Yes, I am.
There he is. So Lucas, do you want to share it with everybody? Some exciting news for you that you wanted to share with everybody?
Yes, I will be moving roles. I will be moving to a different company in about 2 weeks' time. So I will not be continuing as the RTT in North Florida, but I will be moving to a position where I'll be doing more education.
Awesome. And that's kind of like in your forte also, right?
Yes.
Right. That's kind of like what you enjoy doing. Well, we're really, really grateful for everything you've done for us. Oh, hold on. Everything you've done for us, Lucas. So thank you so much. And I know this is an exciting opportunity for you. And so we're grateful for everything you've done. And so Lucas, one of the things that was a question is we have a normal RTT call on Wednesday. So what I talked to Lucas about, I think you probably saw my text or my email, Lucas, is that this Wednesday, we're just going to do the, instead of the RTT call, or not RTT, well, yeah, RTT, MCTT call, we're just going to do the call with the PC coach. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. And then we're already in conversations with some candidates. And so we should have somebody to be able to move into that role very shortly. Oops. Somebody put their finger over their camera, I guess. I thought it was my camera. All right. There you go. That was you, Wayne. Wasn't sure what that was. I thought it was my camera there for a minute. So anyway, so we'll be sending out, Lucas, we'll be sending out in replace of the Wednesday call to the Market Center Tech trainers, we're going to be sending out this call from Michelle. So you can all engage in that. And then we're going to be working with Lucas on the plan for over the course of the next 2 weeks. So thank you again, Lucas. We really appreciate everything you've done for us. Awesome. All right. Let me transition over to my box here. And then let me show you a couple things. If this works. Of course it doesn't work when I want it to work, Ashley. Hold on, let me unshare for a minute to get this. I was going to share it from something that we had. Whoops. Well, now my email won't pop up. Hold on, there we go. I want to make sure it's here. Now my email's not loading. There we go. All right, so let me make sure this is big enough just for everybody to see it. All right. So you should have, and they talked about this on the call, you should have all received this email today. All right, here we go. And let me make this bigger. And we confirmed that this is going to all OPs, team leaders, MCAs, Market Center Tech trainers, right, Ashley? We did the confirmation on that. Okay. Now, if you have not received this, then that means that you have somehow, some way unsubscribed.
Or
from
George,
getting
I'm
the-
sorry. I need to add something in here. Again, guys, this is why it's very important that if you have a PC, Market Center Tech trainer, in your Market Center, okay, if we don't have them on the roster as PC, MCTT, whatever, they're not flagged as leadership and they will not receive this. So if you guys haven't done that and you have a PC in the role and you want them, I'm just saying that because that's the most common one that we see. Okay, so I'm just using that as an example.
Well, sometimes they have Ashley, to be honest, they have an assistant team leader. They have a Market Center Tech trainer.
Sure,
they have a productivity coach. They have somebody working in those capacities, which is great. You don't have to tell us about it. However, if you want to have them on the KW roster, then you need to tell us about it because we're the only ones that, if I'm not mistaken, Ashley, can put them on the roster, right?
That is correct.
Right. And so that would be important. So in addition to what Ashley is saying, if those people, if we don't know about it, they may not be getting this.
That's correct.
If you are approved as a OP team leader, MCA, PC, et cetera, and you are not getting this, then you need to let us know. Now, I want to point out something to you guys. This is before I even go through this, okay? If you make a decision that you want to send something like this or the Chew or anything from Keller Williams out to your internal or external agents, are you following me? If you say, I'm going to forward this, and you forward anything from Keller Williams that has, you receive this email because you are subscribed, and the person that you're sending it to unsubscribes on the email that you forwarded, they just unsubscribed you. Did you all hear me? When you send a KW email or MailChimp from us or any of these things that you're just forwarding out to somebody, it could even be your internal people. And they go down and they go, oh, I don't want to get these anymore. I don't want to get this thing on the lead. And they unsubscribe from here, which is your forwarded email. It just unsubscribed you. Because sometimes we get people that say, well, wait a minute, I didn't unsubscribe and Keller Williams took me out. We go, no, that's probably not the case. Without even thinking about it, you forwarded something that had an unsubscribe on it. And it happens to us all the time too. Okay. So we don't do that anymore. When we send something out, Ashley, you remove that, right? So we don't get unsubscribed, because I've gotten unsubscribed so many times. It's just unbelievable. So you should have received the lead. Okay. I don't know that this would be anything that you would be forwarding out to anybody internal or external, because this is more leadership-ish. Okay. But anyway, I thought this was interesting about the KW conversion appointments to recruits. If you think about it, every time I'm having a conversation with you, I say ours is 22 to 23%, 22 to 23%. And look at here, the average conversion rate is 22.8, and ours is right in that pocket. Okay. So here's the thing, appointments to recruits, 22%. Through good times and bad times, close to 1 in 4 of your recruiting appointments always ended in an agent joining KW. Your future success and profit will be directly determined by how many recruiting appointments you have. The math never lies. Now, this is not me saying this to you. Again, this is Keller Williams saying this to all of you. So what does this in a nutshell say to you?
Bridget, it's Donna. It's saying our conversion rate is acceptable, but we're not having enough appointments.
Yes. By the way, Donna, I'm glad you're chiming in. How many gross did you have last month?
9.
And how many of those were R2s?
2.
And tell us what the volume was.
Between the two of them, 17 million.
$17 million. And where did they come from?
One came from a smaller company, ARC Realty, and one came from a company that I'm kind of going after. This is the third agent I got from them, from Florida in Motion in Celebration.
Awesome. Well, I just wanted to congratulate you.
Thank
you.
you.
So much. And guys, here's the thing. I know about this because her OP told me about it, and then I congratulated Donna. And guys, I don't see this all the time from you. I don't see it all the time. So what we're going to do is we're going to be looking at broker metrics, and we're going to be seeing, who's bringing in the cappers and the half cappers, because that's really important. And the thing is that 9 is doable because Donna does that pretty much on a consistent basis. Hey, Dallas, are you there? Dallas, Dallas, my man. Dallas, my man, where are you?
I'm here.
How many did you bring in last month?
We brought in 15.
15. And if I'm not mistaken, I already think you got 3 or 4 this month, right?
Yes. Yeah, we're at 3 this month so far.
So Dallas, what do you think that's attributed to?
We brought in, I think, 3 or 4 that were from other companies. We did bring in pretty heavily on brand new agents, but
that's okay. Hey guys, brand new agents are going to be your future cappers someday. You just don't have to recruit them later.
Yeah, I think we got a good class of them this time too.
Yeah, very good.
I've met with all the Good.
You were the #1 gross guy this month, so congratulations.
That's
And
not,
you know, and Dallas and I know each other really well. So I know he's not going to have a problem with me saying this. Some months Dallas will be 14, and Dallas, some months you're 5. And some
Right.
months you're 6, and some months you're 12, and some months you're 8, and some months you're 10, and some months you're 2, and some months but you consistently bring in
never
average
two.
of 10 a month,
Yes, yes, that's
you
true.
know? So
Yeah.
guys, I get the fact that it's not always 14, 14, 14. I'm not even asking for 14. Okay. But like, 7, 8, 9, 10 is the pocket that most of you should be in. Now, Inverness, I don't expect that. I don't expect that because he's got like 350 people out there. Okay. And so when he brings in 3 or 4, that's good. And Wayne, hey, Wayne Waverly, I know you were there. Where are you? Didn't you bring 8? I know he was there because his finger was over his camera a few minutes ago. I think he brought in 8, 9, or 10 in his first there. How many did you bring in? It was your first month. How many did you bring in?
We did 9.
9 in your first month, right?
Yeah.
Now, were the majority of those new people?
5, 6 of them were newer people or people that haven't done a deal yet from another brokerage.
Okay, very good. Now, you've got about 300 or 400 people in Winter Haven, and you've got about 300 or 400 people over there in Davenport. And I've been talking to you about how we need to shore up Davenport. But if most of these are like from Winter Haven, you've got like 400 people, I think, in Winter Haven proper, and you're
Correct.
still getting like 7 or 8 or 9 from those areas, right?
Yeah, we're on pace. We should do 12 to 14 this month.
Good job.
That's where we're headed anyway.
Awesome. So the point I'm trying to make, guys, is the mindset of nobody's getting 10 is interesting. And I think we've got people 7, 8, 9, 10 that are doing it. So if you want to figure out how to do it, give Dallas, Donna, Wayne a call. I'm going to show you the chart in just a few minutes here. Okay, so we got appointments, and that's going to be our focus, more appointments. Let's talk clear cooperation. I want to make sure, and I confirmed with Lucas that this has been something that has been shared with your Market Center Tech trainers. It's been shared with the Market Centers. Lucas, do you want to come off mute and tell me how else people have been getting information for this? But because this kind of gives you the roadmap on clear cooperation, because I want to make sure that you all know that in every market, decisions are being made right now that will affect how your agents do business. You should strongly consider picking up the phone and asking questions to understand if you need to get involved, okay? Because Keller Williams has a way that you submit to KW exclusive listings in command. The listing cannot be publicly marketed. Now, this is your OP and broker and all of these things that you have to work with. But I want to make sure, because if you click here, it says learn more to use KW exclusive listings. It takes you to the sheet. Okay. In command, users can create a listing from within the listing applet. As of now, listings created in command will not be syndicated to KW.com, the app, or any agent site. The listing will be viewable within command for you and can be found by other agents based on the sharing controls you set. Once the listing is created and can be found in command, you will be able to attach the listing to an opportunity. So there's ways that you can share this within your own market center or with others, depending upon how the agent makes a decision on how this is done in command. If you're not familiar with this, Lucas, would they get with their Market Center Tech trainer for more information on this? Whoops.
Yes, they can.
Okay, because if I'm not mistaken, they've all been trained on this, right?
Yes, we've talked about this on the growth call, on this call before, and with the Market Center Tech trainers. So it should be something that everybody's familiar with. We've even had calls with team leaders after the last time we talked about it, who were concerned to kind of show them what's going on. If you want any more information, you can contact me.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so I just want to make sure everybody knew about that. Top agents speak out, business plans. What is the biggest challenge in your business is having right now? Okay, so there's something that you can go and check that out. This is what Gary is reading. And then if you can read this, it's Gary's notepad. But basically, if you get down to the bottom of it, it talked about to not, I never questioned, should I do it? It basically talks about holding himself accountable to his job. So I decided to line myself, give myself something, a job. And he talks about basically doing the calls and all the things he needed to do. Okay. And basically, it worked. So you guys can read that. Here is a list of all of the team leader masterminds. And if you wanted to click here, it's got the mastermind schedule, but here's all of the upcoming masterminds starting on April 17th. And then again, please do not scroll down here and unsubscribe. So if you are not getting this, Ashley, what should they do?
Sorry, I was on mute. I'm going to put in the chat that there is a link for you to check your preferences. I will also include the email address that was shared on the growth call that goes straight to Joy Powell. She's handling all of these, and what she'll do is, I want you to follow the instructions that I'm going to send you. It's a link if you're not receiving it to check your preferences. And then after you follow those instructions, then you can send her an email, let her know that you've updated your preferences, whatever. And then on the back end, she can confirm that you're in that channel, so you'll receive it moving forward.
Perfect.
Okay.
And
just give me a second and I'll post that.
very good. And then just a big congratulations to all of you, because I know we had a big focus on this and you did much better this month. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So here's the numbers. Okay. We were number 9, Canada. Now here's what's interesting. Can you see my screen, everybody? Canada brought in a 500 agent indie. Now it converted to its own market center. So basically they took a 500 agent indie and made it a market center in an area where they didn't have a market center. So that was a big coup to Canada. So good job there. So Southeast region was number 2, Texas South, Tri-State, Carolinas, Virginia, Pennsylvania Greater. By the way, most of these regions, with the exception of Texas, have about 40 market centers. So they're 4 or 5 more than us. Texas South has about 2 or 3 less than us. But anyway, we were right in the pocket with 205 gross. That's our biggest gross this year to date. So good job. And so thank you for that. Congratulations. We're number 9 out of all of the 32 market centers. Then for net, we still have an opportunity there. Obviously, Canada did a really good job with, I guess they lost about 100 or 102 agents, something like that. Pennsylvania was gross 38, Carolinas 30, so forth and so on. I believe we were number 22 or 21 in net. So we were only at 18. I think Florida South lost 22. So if we could get that to 0 or greater, would be amazing. And I know we're all working towards that. So I just wanted to say a big thank you for making our numbers better, and really, really proud of you guys for that. And then we're going to be moving into Brandy here in a minute, but I wanted to share a couple of things with you. First of all, Ashley, they still need to be, I don't see the information in here, but they still need to be getting people to the Jeff Glover event, right?
Yeah, I
We
have
didn't
it on the
talk-
main one. Yes, and Delia just sent out some more great information for you guys this morning that you all should have received. Some updated graphics for social media, some captions you can use, a great video from Jeff Glover explaining quickly what the class is about. Really good, get to the point. What is he going to be talking about? What are your agents going to get? And it, as a reminder, it's only $39, so it's really great value.
Yes, and then the other thing is, Delia sent out, where is Delia? Delia, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, can you show, you know what we sent out for Keller Williams' number 1 and all of those posts that I sent to you? Do you have any of that handy? Can you share your screen real quick?
Yeah, just give me 1 second.
Okay, so guys, what we're doing is we're gathering information, because Delia's going in and she's looking at each one of your market centers, looking at your Instagram, looking at your website, looking at your social media posts, Facebook. And it's very interesting what we're finding and not finding, okay? And we want us to be able to tell our story to retain our people, okay? Hey, Ray, I don't know that Ray's on the call because I know he had something else going on today, but Ray, are you there by any chance?
I am.
Would you tell them, I know it's the system that we were looking at, but will you tell them the story about the agent that was going to leave and go to another company, and then you looked up the numbers at the other company? It doesn't matter about how you got it done, but and then how you saved that agent. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So the reality is, whenever somebody's recruiting, they talk about how great they are, and so when in talking to the agent, they said, yeah, I just need a, the market's beating me up, and I've been here for a little while, and I looked at this stuff. Everything looks great over there. They're up this percent. And while I was on the phone with them, I was using my version of Brokermetrics, and I was able to pull up their brokerage's numbers. And I said, well, that's kind of interesting because I see they're down 19% year over year. And the year before that, they were down this. So I'm not sure where he got his numbers. And he says, well, they've only been here for X amount of time. And I said, well, that's not right either. They were actually here since 2021. So I took a picture and I texted it to him, and he says, wow, that's interesting. That's nothing like he told me the numbers were. And I said, well, the reality is when somebody's trying to recruit you, they always want to look great because they're trying to get you over there. So again, it's numbers are what you make of them, right? So it's nice when we can look behind the curtain for our agents.
And I believe he ended up staying, right?
Yes, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the thing is, guys, is that you need to know your own numbers and you need to know what's happening. But if we're not sharing, and what we kind of talked about, Ray, is having these preliminary conversations. Phil Jones talks about you need to know what to say in the moment that you need to say it. It's not like when somebody comes to you. So thank goodness Ray was able to pull up the information. But imagine that we're sending out our market share, our how good your agents are doing in your market center, the information. Did you find it yet, Delia? Can you share your screen? Information on how great we are. We're being proactive instead of reactive. But if we're not taking the time to be able to post some of these great things that we know from that's coming out, there you go. So here you go. Ranked as #1 largest real estate franchise by brands. Now, you're going to see that a lot of companies will say they're #1 in these certain aspects. But you got to remember that we're a franchise company and have 800, 900 franchises. So EXP and Real and probably LPT are one brand because they have one theoretically broker, right? So we say that we're the #1 real estate franchise in the US. So if somebody comes back and challenges you with that, yes, there you go. If somebody comes back and challenges you with that, just say, well, cumulatively, when we put all of our franchises together, we are #1 in the United States. Now go to the next one. And by the way, you guys all got this. Delia sent this out. Delia, who did you send it to last week? Just stay there for a minute. Delia?
It hasn't been sent out yet. It's getting sent out today for everybody to post along with the Jeff Glover graphics.
Okay. So #1, ranked as the #1 largest real estate franchise by brand. This was 145,000. Go to the next one. Transaction sites, 828,000 transactions. Okay, go to the next one. Is there any more? 370 billion. 370 billion in volume. Okay. So guys, all of this information are things that you need to be able to have to be able to post and get this out to your people, internally and externally, and then bring it into your leadership meetings. Thank you, Delia. And then bring it into your leadership meetings and make sure that everybody knows about it. And then make sure that if we're sending it out to you and then you're reposting it or sending it out to your people so they can post it, and all the things that need to get done. And then the last thing I want to share with you that I'm going to be sending to you, if I still have it up here. Am I still sharing? I don't think I'm sharing my screen anymore. Am I?
No, you are not.
Okay, hold on. Let me go back and share. Is this, and we're going to be sending this out to you as well, because I thought this was rather and interesting data. By the way, all of the things that I'm showing you, for the most part, like this generational graph, this is all on the National Association of Realtors site, but I thought I wanted to send this out to you. So this is a 2025 home buyers and sellers generational trends. This is why our social media posting and the way that you are communicating is going to become really, really important, okay? Because look at here, Gen Z, 3% of all buyers with the highest share of single buyers, 12% of all buyers with the highest share of first-time home buyers, okay? 71%, your younger millennials, older millennials, okay? 17% of all buyers with highest share of non-white buyers, 24% of buyers with the highest share of multi-generational home buyers. Send this out to your agents as well, okay? So I think this is good. I put this on this Word document so we can get this out to everybody, all right? Another good thing. All right, Ashley, I think I'm good because we give him Brandy about 30 minutes for her to do her presentation. So thank you again to our OPs who are going to be presenting on all of our calls because they're bringing us great value. So Brandy, are you ready?
Hey, Georgia, while Brandy's getting logged in and set up, I'm receiving a couple of emails from you guys, and I think you're confusing what the region sends out and what KWRI sends out. It's very different, okay? The call reminders that you get about our regional calls, or the thing that Georgia sent out about the gift for the PC and the MCTTs, anything from me, that has nothing to do with KW, the stuff that comes from KWRI. Okay, so specifically the newsletter that we were talking about is something from KW, and that has nothing to do with you're going to get, you can't unsubscribe from my emails. So that you can't unsubscribe from George's emails. That's not a thing. This is just a KW email. So if you guys need any help with determining that, I just got a couple emails of people that are a little confused on that, and so I just wanted to clarify that with her.
All right, so Ashley, just to make sure that everybody understands,
Yes,
they get emails from KWRI that's separate from us.
correct.
They get emails from us where we may forward an email from KWRI.
Could be.
That's what
Yeah.
Ashley is talking about. If you get something from us, you can unsubscribe. You don't have a choice. But you might get something from KW in North Florida that's done in MailChimp, Ashley.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah,
could
you
look like
can.
it's coming from us,
Mhm.
and they can unsubscribe from that. They just can't unsubscribe from Ashley and Georgia and Delia and stuff because those are primary emails. But if we're sending out promotional materials like from KW North Florida, and there's an unsubscribe at the bottom, that would unsubscribe them from anything that we're sending out from KW North Florida, which is our MailChimp account, which we send out all of our big publications from. Or if we're sending an email from my account, from George's account, and we're forwarding it from KWRI, what you're really subscribing from is not from my email, you're subscribing from the KWRI email that we forwarded to you. Does that make sense?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
So I just wanted to add a little bit of clarity to that. There was a little bit of confusion. So
Right.
okay.
Don't unsubscribe to anything we're sending you.
There you go.
All right, Brandy, take it away.
Hi. How are you?
We're good. How are you doing?
I know Dayton's on here too, and excellent. Thank you for all the value. I am going to pull up a presentation, but I also want this to be super interactive. So obviously, the more engagement from you, the more interesting this will be. I know it's the afternoon, so I think you all know I'm the ambassador for North Florida, the entire region for KW Luxury, and I am looking for my replacement. So I would love for anyone to raise their hand that's looking to take on this role in 2026. But what we do is we create and curate an ultimate experience for our agents. And we do that from the very first appointment to what you might call onboarding. I don't like that word onboarding. I like the word curate experience. So when we're signing up an agent from the moment Dayton meets them to the moment that they transfer over to our brokerage, we want to be unforgettable. And every step of the way, we want to be defining moments. And we know if we do that with our clients, which are our agents, they're going to attract more people in the community. And they're also going to serve the community that same way by curating unforgettable and experiences and defining moments. So a lot of people will say, oh, okay, well, you're on the coastline and you have more luxury sales in your area. For us, luxury is not a price point. It is an experience. So we believe that the brand of excellence will translate through all price points, from a first-time home buyer that's using FHA all the way up to over 10 million, which we do have in our area. So I want you to think of this as attracting the highest level talent in your area based on an experience, not by tools, technology, or just your education. It's how you make them feel throughout the process is going to be the most important thing. And people do not care how much you know about Keller Williams until they know how much you care. Dayton, is there anything you want to touch on from the experience part of attracting mega agents? What's really important to you?
I think the first 30 days, when you do get them to that point, are very important. That's the honeymoon stage is what I call it. So when they do come on board, like, there should be no miscues. Signs are ordered. Usually there's a process depending on what type of realtor they are. If they are a luxury realtor, then they're going to want a luxury look. So it depends on who we outsource the marketing to. We have in-house marketing person that we do to, or we'll use Michael Lewis. But the first 30 days, the touches on a weekly basis to make sure they have everything, to make sure they made the right choice. So there's no second guessing. And 99.9% of the time they come to us and say, I really made the right decision by coming here. Everything's been fantastic. Your staff is fantastic. So it's Ritz-Carlton type service. And it's like that throughout their entire time here. But obviously it's a little bit more hands off once they get into production and kind of get the feel for everything.
So we want them to come to us for everything, anything they need in their business. And then we want them to share our story so that we're not sharing our story on social. It's more impactful when an agent's on a showing or doing a lister company on maybe a luxury home or just having coffee or at the board, when they're excited to be a part of our brand. And then people go online after they have that conversation and they see that the online presence matches exactly what that agent said without talking about Keller Williams. It's just the experience that we create for them, and it's curated. It's tailored to each agent. So I want you to think about, get the word onboarding out of your kind of vocabulary and think about how you can tailor it specific to that agent's needs. Just like if you had a luxury client, everyone's going to have different things that they would need throughout the process. So having really super high standards, I think, is really important, and being intentional and then offering as much support as you can for every aspect of their lives. Obviously, a lot of the tools with luxury are for agents that sell and higher price points, but you might have agents that are looking to aspire to increase their price point and also increase their fee. So what we want to consult with them on is working less and making more money. And a lot of times that is increasing their price point no matter where they're at in their career. And then also when they curate this experience and tailor it based on their clients' needs, automatically they have more worth, which means they may or may not be able to charge more with their menu of services depending on what they provide. We also have different businesses that are connected to the market center so that they're not having to go out and find a stager or an interior design company or a property management company. Everything's in-house: marketing, coaching, repair and remodeling services, should they choose to use it, mortgage, title. And in some of those cases, they actually have a vested interest. We do talk about Keller Williams. So these are some key points if I'm having just a general consulting conversation. Of course, the entire conversation is going to be about them. It's going to be a lot of questions to them. I don't think Dayton has ever even brought a recruiting presentation on an appointment. I mean, that probably will shock you all, but I don't think I've ever seen him come to an appointment with a folder with a bunch of KW stuff that looks like any other Keller Williams or Coldwell Banker that they walk into. I kind of tease him about it because I'm like, wow, imagine what you could do if you had some like really beautiful collateral. But it's how he makes them feel is what is the most important piece of that. I love the marketing. So of course they're going to come to me for how to do their listing consultation. I literally give them an entire copy of all of my marketing collateral, and they can go in Canva, rebrand it to them, or of course we can contact my favorite graphic designers to create what we call brand standards based around their team or an individual agent. But there are some key points that I do like to mention in a conversation. I don't like having it on a piece of paper. I think it should be internalized so that you're not, you know, passing along a presentation. It should be more of a consultation. I do think saying that Gary Keller has been named the #1 most powerful person in real estate, and he's usually in the top 10 every year, is pretty phenomenal. I think that's a powerful thing to say when you're in conversation with a high level agent that is producing more than 10 million on an annual basis, especially if they're doing that more than 1 year. Another thing is the Glassdoor Best Workplace. I share this with them and tell them that when I'm in a conversation with a property owner that might have been a retired CEO or is currently a CEO of a business, that's going to stand out to them. So this isn't just to tell your agents and share in an internal story. It's also to use and share with that agent you're consulting with and explain how you might use it on a consultation with a seller. So it's just this trickle effect of how you lead them in any conversation and how high-minded you are when you're speaking about Keller Williams or business in general. The other thing is talking about our global approach and our expansion. Obviously, having that worldwide map I'm going to show you in a minute would be important for them and their consultations with luxury clients or a client that might just travel extensively. Obviously, sharing $2 billion in profit is really important when we're talking about building another line of income for them. You'd be surprised how many mega agents have never invested in commercial real estate. They don't have any investment properties. Their entire nest egg is reliant upon the money they make each year in their sales career. They haven't thought about the golden handoff. They haven't thought about investing in other cash flowing opportunities. So this is the very entry level conversation you can have is profit share. And then maybe as they dive deeper later, after you go through that honeymoon stage, into Keller Williams, they're going to see all the opportunities with wealth building. We do a once a month wealth building class for them. It's called Millionaires Club. And it's all based around how to help them build their net worth. There's nothing about sales in it. And then I think this is a really valid point from the language of real estate specific to luxury that I like to share with agents that are looking to become part of a big brand behind their big brand. Is KW Luxury averages 228 million sales above 1 million every single day. So if that's not in your language as you're having these high level conversations, it should be. That's a really powerful statement. I know we all know that all price points across KW sell over $1 billion a day, but if they're looking to raise their price point and they're competing against another luxury brand, saying that we sell 221 million above 1 million price point every single day is huge. We do talk about our different areas that we're located, the global map. You all have access to that. If you do not have your own in-house marketing, you do have access, or the agent has access to Agent Lux, and they can create a lot of the beautiful collateral that is within the KW Luxury brand standards. So hopefully you're taking advantage of that opportunity. And then, of course, you have recognition with KW Luxury and Wall Street Journal, Mansion Global, James Edition, Barron, many different types of, I guess you would call, syndications. And you also have print discounts. So I was just speaking with an agent who has a property above 10 million, and she had not thought about doing print. She thought it was really antiquated. And I said, well, the last property I had above 10 million was 15 million, and the buyer found the ad in the Wall Street Journal, the very old school newspaper. So I think it's worthwhile. And she thought, oh, that might increase the activity on this property. This is new. So if you're not aware of this, this is something I just sent out to everyone in our market centers. Is the KW Luxury brand has come out with some pre-engagement templates, what you would ordinarily call pre-listing packages, and it's specific to luxury. Same thing with social media content that's always been around, property flyers, direct mail templates, And then, of course, your luxury star sign templates. And now they have writers, and they also have your email signatures that are available. I'm just going to switch screens real fast here and jump over. Just want to show you an example of how you might want to. Okay, there we go. So we went over all of that. So this is something you might want to include in what you would normally call your onboarding or your mega agent box that you would include to transfer them over. I would certainly keep an eye out for this email coming from KW Luxury. It should have been in your email this last week. If you need me to recirculate it or get you in touch with KW Luxury, I'm happy to do that so that you can get into the Circles app and see where this is located. But one of the things that's new is in Canva or in Command, you can create and edit these pre-engagement listing opportunities that really the person that ran Brady Sandals' team did for him year over year over year. And he's consistently sold over 100 million. So you can say to a mega agent, we're going to transition you and have all of your marketing set up within 24 hours. Dayton, is this pretty quick and easy when you're doing this with an agent? I know you do this all the time. You have all of this set up for them.
Yeah, it's easy.
And the turnaround's pretty fast.
Yeah.
Is there anything that I missed on here? Because I know like this is where you get really involved in hands-on, especially like I get out of his way when he takes over this part.
No, I mean, we follow our checklist on everything and making sure they have everything they need. Obviously, like I said, the first 30 days are really important. So yeah, I think you covered everything.
Okay, great. These are some brand boxes. You could certainly use these to attract talent too if you do want to have a really nice presentation. Like I said, Dayton never brings anything. So again, it's really the experience that you create. But these are being used by KW Luxury agents and it's standing out on their appointments. I usually will have one in my office so they can see what that looks like. So if they do want to elevate their brand and step it up a notch, they can physically see what it looks like. So I'm in five or six different offices on any given day, depending on which business I'm at. And I always have one of these luxury brand boxes there because it's a talking point. If you think about when you receive something from Tiffany's or a luxury brand, it's usually all about the presentation, no matter what the price point of the gift is. We also have brochures that will clearly state the different levels of luxury. I know there's a lot of confusion with that. Having these on hand in your office are really powerful. Yes, you have a question? You're on mute.
Yes, I do. On the screen before, those luxury boxes, I remember I used to have one. Do they make that video now where it's editable? So that used to have like
yeah, those are different boxes. These are more for the hard copy, but if you want to connect with me offline, I can get you whichever version you feel is suitable for your agents. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep. So having the brochures with, when your listing qualifies and then earn in agents and then luxury pro and differentiating between the three levels, I think it's important to have those in your office and not just in your head, but having that something tangible for them to have. And then these are just some highlights from our training calendar. I know, Dayton, you'll probably have more to touch on. I'm just pointing out some things that mega agents might want to attend, but reoccurring every single month, I think it's important to have framework conversations. We use Phil Jones every single morning. So I have put his entire book into a PowerPoint, and every day at 7:30, I will role play, and it's specific to exactly what to say for realtors with Phil Jones. So when they're bringing me a traditional script, which I hate that word, I'm reframing the conversation and I'm using Phil Jones words and using those words to handle their objections. And then we swap, and then everyone on the call will share a win and an area of opportunity. So this is something that Dayton might mention in an appointment, or anyone, if I'm on a recruiting appointment, that, where else are you going to go where your operating principal and broker is on a call at 7:30 Monday through Friday to role play how to go out and increase your price point and take on more luxury listings if that's your goal. Anyone on this call is welcome to join. I'm happy to send you the Zoom. I've had some people from Apollo Beach join lately. The more the merrier, because you know, you all have different markets, and it's really interesting to hear the objections that are coming. We do the Millionaire Club once a month, and that's on a Monday. It's not as busy for them at 4 o'clock, so I do it at 4 o'clock. Every Thursday, we do MREA playbooks. So this is something we can share with a mega agent when we're looking to attract them, is here's an example of a playbook. Maybe they've mentioned a niche that they want to get into. Maybe it's luxury, maybe it's commercial, maybe it's divorce, maybe it's trust and probate. So I might mention, you know, Dan's KW Planner community. There's a lot of crossover that we might mention, but just having some of the reoccurring classes where it's very consistent, and maybe they haven't had that consistency somewhere else, is important. And then we also do a book club every Wednesday. It's usually MREA. Right now it's Shift. It could be The One Thing. It could be Robert Kiyosaki. It could be Napoleon Hill. It could be any book that they say they want to dive deeper into, and then I'll break down the book in a book club, and that's every Wednesday. And then once a month, you all know we have a luxury mastermind for the region, and then we also have a lot of command and tech clinics with Kennedy. Kennedy is really in charge of our entire office. I can't say she's a director of first impression. She does everything. Can you touch on how Kennedy handles a lot of the training data and the signing and the experience of a mega agent?
Yeah, I mean, she schedules she puts together the calendar. She sits in our ALC meeting, takes notes, because we really book the calendar around our basically we go over our financial statements and go over our sales, or if we're listing heavy, that type of stuff, and then I go through and basically see what classes do you want, who you want me to bring in, that type of thing. So she takes down the notes. I tell her who to call and who to schedule for what classes and who's going to teach what. So she handles all of that. And then, yeah, she handles all the onboarding experience from as soon as they sign the paperwork to transfer their license, to ordering their signs, to their business cards, replacing marketing material, you know, getting their website. She's our MCTT as well, so she's very fluent in command. So yeah, she's a rock star. Helps me out a lot.
When we curated an experience recently for some mega agents that have been in business longer than I have, I was on a Zoom call when we were going over all this, and between Robin, our MCA, who's been in the role for a long time, I think mega agents love seeing consistency with leadership. Obviously, Dayton's been in the team leader role for a long time, as well as myself. And Kennedy had previous experience coming over. So everyone's super Kellerized. Everyone understands the language of Keller Williams. We know when to slow down. And when I was on this Zoom call, I think I said 2 words as the broker and the OP. It made it very, very easy having such a strong leadership around you. And Hillary in our North Point office was on there. Between everyone, they're just so synergistic the way they work, and everyone's cross-trained. I think that was an important thing that Dayton made sure of, is that if anyone's out of the office, everyone knows what to do, including myself. We all know how to use command. We all know how to use every system and tool. These are some other things that we consistently have. This KW luxury training call, I hope you're all doing these watch parties. We had over 600 agents and market centers on the last one. And so I hope you're sharing that even with the agents that are aspiring to become part of luxury and doing that in your training center. We've opened it up to all agents. Some of these other ones are specific for earned-in agents, but just keep an eye on the KW luxury training call so everyone in your market center can take notes. They send out a training manual and module where you can take notes, and everyone is invited to that, including leadership. Did anyone attend the last one and have any ahas from that, or anything you'd like to share from that? I guess I was the only one. Okay, well, we shared it in both of our market centers, and I think it's important when you're looking to attract mega agents that are looking to increase their price point. If you haven't sold luxury before, that would be a great opportunity for you as leadership to learn about the luxury community. Gary has said over and over again that it's the fastest growing community, and it's the community to watch. So if you are looking to attract people selling more than 10 million, they are very likely out there creating these experiences with their clients. And so the more we can speak their language, the easier it's going to be to consult and attract them, which again will attract more agents just like them. So some of the things that we touch on and why they're joining us is obviously we're a national and global brand where you have a global and national referral network. I just received a huge project from a referral agent out of New York that travels back and forth from Miami, and it does extensive travels in Europe. I have received another referral from Toronto, one from Portugal last week. We also have in-house marketing and luxury consultation coaching. There's a big difference between the training and the coaching. So I think it's important to have both and different people doing those things because it's very different to train versus coaching. And then of course that white glove, I hate the word onboarding, but I know that's a common used word, that white glove experience and direct access to leadership and support.
You know, Brandy, you could use the word transition, maybe white glove, white glove transitioning or something.
Yeah. I don't know why that word bothers me.
I don't like it either
it's
because
like,
people get really confused with what onboarding means. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like offer letter. I'm trying to get away from offer letter and just call it a transition plan.
yeah, it's almost like we're rebranding you with our luxury global network, right? We want you to come out shining when you join this company because you have a huge brand behind you. And now if they don't have a brand or they haven't been able to brand themselves, they're really proud of that. And when it is circulated on social media by us and then they reshare it, I mean, it just goes viral and people pay attention to that. They really, they're online. So these are some of our active listings. So we're really, I hate to say this, but sticklers about how the listings come out online and how they're represented. We actually own a marketing company and a photography and videography franchise. So we highly recommend that they use them. We do not treat them as employees like they have to, but it's important when you're dealing with Waterfront to use the best of the best. And most of them do. So these are some of the active. And again, when you're sharing these online and we're sharing their story for them, it's a little easier for them to attract other agents. So we do believe that our agents are also leaders in the community. They're not out there just performing sales. With our culture, our systems, our tech, and our luxury business, they're going to have the space to scale beyond expectation. And sometimes that doesn't mean more units. Sometimes that means increasing their price point, doing less units, and they are likely going to charge a higher fee once they go through our training. These are some of our most recent sales. So we do have our own branding with Island Life. Again, you can use Michael Lewis with their white glove service for your market center if you don't have your own kind of brand, but we like everything to look very consistent to our brokerage. And then these are some of my team listings. So we do our best to share it on the brokerage and vice versa. And it gets the agents recirculating the most recent sales. So any questions for Dayton or myself on attracting mega agents or luxury agents?
Hey, Brandy, I just
tried to
went
roll through that as fast as I could.
Great job. First of all, I just went to ChatGPT and I said, what's another word for onboarding with Keller Williams? There's several, but integration or enablement, initiate. I wouldn't word that one, but anyway, I love what you're talking about. Like there needs to be a different word for onboarding. It just sounds so cold, doesn't it? But I like.
It's like what are we onboarding? It's just
I know.
strange,
I like integration. Integration. So, Brandy, just for clarification, because I know you and Dayton. First of all, good job, and are so luxury focused. What I heard you say was, even though you're a luxury brand, everybody gets treated like a luxury. It's kind of like going to the Ritz-Carlton. You may not be a multimillionaire, but everybody gets treated as though they're a multimillionaire when they make the decision to stay at a Ritz-Carlton, right? It's a Ritz-Carlton service. And I think that's what you're trying to say.
I think it's, I went through the leadership training with Ritz-Carlton, and I've been through John Maxwell, same kind of concept like you have, but we want them to feel special. It doesn't matter how much they sell. And when you make people feel good, their confidence is boosted. When you get on the calls with them, when they're brand new at 7:30 and you're role playing with them and they've got a big buyer appointment, they need to sign this buyer agreement with their first, $1 million sale or $1 million buyer or $1 million listing, that encouragement and that support and that coaching. It's not just the training is important, but the coaching and the hands-on leadership where everyone's speaking that same language with the experience is crucial. And I feel that's what we do and that's where we shine. Obviously we have a lot of area of opportunity for sure. Someday I'll get Dayton to bring a recruiting presentation to an appointment, but
no, don't, because my recruiting presentation, if you guys go back and watch my videos from 2015, my recruiting presentation is the MREA book.
Yeah.
I bring a book or I bring an offer letter. That's what I bring.
Transition letter.
Yeah.
Transition letter. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Transition letter. Yeah.
Because to me, an offer, like you guys can do whatever you want, obviously, but to me, an offer is like a yes or no. When you bring a transition plan, it's like, here's our transition plan to, integrate you into our, onboard to integrate you into our great company. I don't know. It just sounds more like you're already there and that you're transitioning. I mean, I think it sounds more like a plan rather than a offer to say yes or no to. But anyway.
Yeah, they want a plan and they want it done for them, right? They're busy. A lot of times when they're transitioning from these other brands, like they are doing a lot of units or they're handling everything. They're their own listing coordinator, transaction, like they really have not, like their idea of leverage is not our idea of leverage, right?
Exactly.
And so we don't want to, again, throw up the MREA all over them, but there are little key points that we can reference in the book that are really important that can change their lives. And the same thing with the one thing, all these things and tools and resources we have access to are important, but yeah, don't get caught up in the price point. And it's all about the experience. It's all about the way that you make them feel when you're discussing their business and asking them great questions. And I think, Phil Jones is phenomenal at that, and becoming a student of him and being able to spend 4 hours with him. Brady gave us a beautiful gift as ambassadors. I don't even know if I told you this, Georgia, to sit in a room with him role playing. I mean, and he let me video it all. I mean, that changes the regional ambassadors' lives. And then I can go back and pour that into our agents and have those great conversations recruiting.
I just spent 2 days with him in New York last week or a couple weeks ago, and we're bringing him to the region June. It's 24th, 25th, 25th, 26th, 27th. You guys are going to have the opportunity to get certified, 2-day certification course. So when you leave there, you will be certified in the Phil Jones experience, okay, to be able to use his materials and everything. So it's going to be great. And for those of you that participate, and we're going to give everybody an opportunity to have him the first day just for us alone. What I mean by that is just like for certain people that participate, by doing certain things, then you'll be able to come to a private mastermind with him. So we're working on that. Ashley, are you doing something to share? Because it's not coming through. Well, anyway, Brandy, really, really good job. And so the first week we had, I think it was Rich, he was talking about the team leader role and what the team leader should be doing. Last week we had Beth, she talked about productivity coaching. This week, we talked to Brandy and Dayton, and they talked about what this looks like to be able to have a great, we don't want to call it onboarding experience, but the great transition when you make a decision to join Keller Williams and be an agent of the Keller Williams Market Center, what your experience would look like. And at Brandy, this is kind of like right in cue with what I'm going to be sending out to the operating principals and the team leaders. I want to know, like, why would I mean, it's very clear with yours. Why would somebody want to join your company? Why, what is your value proposition? What is it that you say about your company? You had some very, very definite markers there as to why Keller Williams would be a differentiator, right? And it's really, really, really good. So I'm going to be asking you guys that because we're going through and seeing some of the media that you have. I don't know that it's really clear. Here you go. So save the date, exactly what to say, June 26th and 27th at Orlando Regional Realtors Association. you're going to be certified in his program. So you'll walk away with a certificate to be able to basically use his material. And on the 25th, though, he's going to also be with us for a private event that I will talk to you guys all about later. So we're going to be sending this out to you. We don't exactly have the cost down yet, but we'll be getting that out to you shortly. All right, very good. Thank you, Ashley. All right, well, guys, any questions? Did Brandy do a good job? And Brandy, I guess Ashley has this PowerPoint that we can send out to everybody, I'm assuming.
She did great.
I can send it over, and if you want, I can put hyperlinks. I didn't do that just because it kind of looks messy.
Sure.
And I noticed a couple of typos too that my assistant didn't catch on the second round. So I'll put some hyperlinks to where you can find some of these assets. So it's really easy and comprehensive for you as you're going from page to page where to find these things. You do need to be a part of the Circles app. So if you're not a part of it, you can contact KW Luxury, or I'm happy to direct you to the email. Let them know that you're a team leader or OP if you do not have access. And then I just keep the app on my phone. So even if I'm not in my office on one of those training calls, I can watch the recordings as I'm driving, or just, doing laundry or whatever it is around the house, just, as I'm piddling.
But again, you don't have to be, just for clarification, this is the way that they talk about their office, even though they have luxury properties. But just as a clarification point, anybody can have access to understanding the luxury material. You have to do a certain amount of transactions to be called an earned-in agent to be able to use the signage and various things. But everybody has access to a certain amount of the material, so don't have a limiting belief on that. But if anybody wants to be an earned-in agent, if they have to do is 4 transactions in a year's period of time, or in 2 years, I guess, in the last 2 years, 4 transactions. And the price point for most of you, I believe, Brandy, is $750, right? Unless you're out there at Alligator Point, it's $1 million.
Yeah, like Naples is higher. And, I do think in a lot of the areas you should probably raise that. And I get a lot of pushback on it. But, the higher you raise your standards, the more people are going to want to aspire to do that. And even if you don't have a lot of luxury sales, you're only going to get there if your conversation is based around them increasing their price point. And when we set goals with agents, when you're doing the economic model or you're doing their GPS with them and you're coaching them, maybe they're working too much and it's a lot of units. And it's like, okay, well, what if we doubled your price point even from 200,000 to 400,000? Maybe you've mastered farming this neighborhood or whatever the case may be. You double your sale. Maybe you're doing a lot of work for this fee. Do you have a menu of services? Do you have different options for the sellers? Gary said it the best, you should have options for your fee. And I don't tell them where to set their fee. Obviously, we can't do that. But if they have different options, then most people are going to pick the one in the middle. And if they just raise it by even 0.5%, maybe, because they might be doing more than other agents. And what's the worst that somebody says? No, you can always go backwards. You can't raise it later.
Hey, Dallas. Thank you, Brandy.
Hey, Brandy, what's the process in raising that price point? Because I think ours is ridiculously low right now.
Yeah, you can do it yourself with leadership on your back end of KW Command. But I don't know if you want to talk to your ALC. Everyone runs their market centers differently. We go back to our ALC with a lot because some of them are luxury agents, and of course we want to get their buy-in and make sure that it's not going to, rock the boat too much. So, I'm sure you have great relationships being in the role for so long, you'll kind of have a feel for that.
But we can
But
change
anybody,
ourselves. There's not a process.
yeah, you can
We have to
change
go through
whatever
it.
the top 10% of your market area, you can change it to. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, very good. All right, well, thank you so much, everybody. Let's go out and grow, and let's really work on our appointments. Thanks so much to everybody for everything you're doing. And let's get people to that event with I'm sorry. I got Phil Jones on my brain right now, but Jeff Glover, Jeff Glover event. Let's go and get everybody to the Jeff Glover event. recruits. It's only $39, guys. It's really, really a great thing. It's all about listing. So let's grow, grow, grow. Have a great
Check out
week.
the video we sent you. It
Yes.
gives great detail
Hey,
of it.
Ashley, Georgia. In the tent of flying cash, I got one of those Glover certificates. Can I
Uh-huh.
provide that to an agent?
Yeah, that's your ticket. Yeah, just let us know. Just send me an email on it, Chris.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Sure.
you guys.
You bet.